Hi, we've just arrived at the Weedy Garden and I'm so super excited to visit David Trood. He's an incredible photographer, known worldwide. I'm a big fan of his photos and I'm super impressed with the way he started his YouTube program, which is followed by thousands and millions. And just the way it combines the photography with nature is absolutely mind-blowing. So I can't wait to have this conversation with him today. We're just pulling up now.
I've got some special guests coming to the garden today. Beverley's on her way up the hill. I can see she's driving up here. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, good to see you.
Lovely to see you. Thank you.
You want to have a look at my little garden?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, it looks so amazing.
I tell you what, it's pretty noisy today because of the cicadas. This beautiful summer in Australia, but they're going to be a bit of a competition with the sound, so we might have to speak up today.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Wow, what's going on here?
Well, I'm actually just about to start doing a video where I'm going to explain how to read the moon calendar. Have you ever heard of this moon calendar?
Yeah, absolutely.
Come in and have a look. See, this guy, he designs it every year. He's been doing it for 40 years. His name's Thomas Zimmer.
Thomas Zimmer.
Yeah, a lot of people know him in the area. People have been buying his calendar for like 40 years. And it's all handwritten. All of this he writes every year by hand. And he doesn't have a telephone, he doesn't have a computer, he's never had a television. He lives out in the bush and does these calendars once a year.
That's absolutely incredible.
So I'm just doing a video and explaining how to read it, because it looks pretty complicated with all these little graphs and all these little colours, but it's very simple. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Fabulous. I love the moon. It's
actually, you can see it up there. Can you see it up there? There it is. It's almost a new moon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here we are. Midsummer's day and the moon is shining.
Well, yeah, it does. It cycles, and that's what this calendar's all about. It's because when it's full moon, you can see it coming up over the horizon when it's full moon.
Yeah.
And it comes up an hour later every day. So that's why it's like up here in the middle of the day when it's a new moon.
Yeah.
And then it'll get bigger and closer and closer and closer. And when it's close to a full moon in the afternoon, you'll see it up here as a big moon. And the next day it'll be an hour later. And then it'll be going dark and the moon will be coming up. And yeah. Let's have a look around, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Super excited. Wow, you're such an amazing gardener and photographer. Why did you start?
Why did I start my YouTube channel? Well, that's a really good question, actually. You remember when we had lockdown in 2020, in March?
Yeah.
I was sitting on a bench down there on the hill and watching a bit of social media, and I saw those videos of people freaking out in the supermarkets about toilet paper, when the toilet paper was short. And I thought at that moment, what's it going to be like if the shortage is food? And so I decided exactly at that moment, that I wanted to fulfill the dream that I've always had. I've always had this subconscious dream of myself as being an old man, like 100-year-old man. And people would ask me, why are you so healthy and happy? And I said, because I live in my own garden and eat my own food. It's not something I thought about like every day, but it was this subconscious kind of deep down vision of myself as an old person. And I thought in March that year with lockdown, I thought maybe this is a good time to start that dream and to get it going. But I knew nothing about gardening. And I knew at that point, a lot of people on the planet were probably going to have the same feeling that I had, which was, I want to make a garden and I want to be self-sufficient, so I'm food secure. So that's why I started my channel. To all those people that might have had the same idea at the same time I did, so they could look back maybe in a year's time or 2 years or 5 years time, they could see what would the garden look like today if they had started. And I didn't know anything when I started. So it was kind of to show people that you can do it without knowing anything and you learn along the way. And I love my photography, so I was able to put my cameras to good work so I didn't just sit and collect dust during COVID. Let's go down in the shade into the food forest because it's a very hot day today in Australia. So let's go and sit down in the shade first, I think. Shall we?
sounds good to me. The bag over the top.
What's the bag on the bananas for?
Yeah.
That's to keep the bats and the parrots from eating my bananas.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. You got to bag them, otherwise the wildlife will get them. Do you want to sit underneath the tunnel in the shade?
Oh,
It's a bit quieter here as well because it's too hot up there.
Yeah.
Whew.
Oh, look at the teddy bear.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of teddy bears here.
Yeah.
Because I've got a big problem with the bush turkeys.
Right.
You know what a bush turkey is?
I've seen them.
Some people call them scrub turkey.
Yeah.
Bush turkey, brush turkey.
Yeah.
But it's a wild turkey that lives in Australia in the bush. That's what they call them, the bush turkey.
Yeah.
And it comes into the garden and it digs up all my root vegetables. So I asked my permaculture teacher, Jeff Lawton, I said, have you heard any good tips about how to keep the bush turkey away? And he said, you've got to put teddy bears around your garden. So I went to the dump and I got a bunch of teddy bears from the tip shop. And then I just placed them around the garden. And and the next day I came out, there was some holes that had been dug in, and some of the teddy bears were like covered in dirt because the bush turkey just didn't care. And so I sent a photo to him, and I said, it doesn't work. Next time someone asks you, tell them it doesn't work. And he said, no, you've got to hang them up. So I made all these poles with fishing line and hung them up outside my garden on the fence, and they kind of turned around in the wind, and the bush turkeys didn't come back for about 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
But then one bush turkey came back because I think he figured out that the teddy bears weren't that dangerous. So then I took them off, and I thought instead of throwing them away, I'd leave them in the garden and hang them around the garden. So when the children come to visit the Weedy Garden, I ask them how many teddy bears they can find.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
It actually makes it like a fairy tale garden, like a magical garden.
Yeah, it is a magical garden that I've created on the hill. It was actually just a bunch of lantana up here in the beginning.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
lantana is well, they call it a weed, but it's a really good nitrogen fixer.
Yeah.
And this whole hill was covered with lantana. So I got my neighbour with his tractor to just push it all aside. And so the soil when I started was really, really good soil. So I was really lucky. I got a good head start.
Yeah, bless. And I believe you do magic on the land as well.
Have you seen a couple of my videos?
Yes.
Where I do magic?
Yes.
Well, I can teach you how to do that thing.
That's cool.
Would you like to learn?
I'd love to learn.
Okay, we'll go up to the garden bed. I need to do a bit of weeding up here, so I can show you how it works with a bit of weeding. You can do it with all sorts of things.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'll show you one of my garden beds over here that needs weeding.
Right.
Yeah, I use magic all the time up here. It saves me a lot of time. I'll give you a little example. See all these weeds here?
Yeah.
These are weeds. This is my eggplant. It's a bit sick because we had a big hailstorm the other day. But I want to get rid of the weeds. So what you got to do is you got to put your hands together until you can feel them warming up, and you've got to rub until your hands are warm, and then you got to go. Wow. You want to have a go?
Okay.
Try. Okay. You got to remember. You got to make a sound. So when you go like that, you got to go. Wah. Wah. Yeah. So there you go.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy trick actually if you do it right. It takes a little bit of practice. You've got to make sure that that sound is the end.
Right.
Yeah. No, you did it. You did it.
Okay. But what's happened to all the weeds?
Well, they've been transported over to the compost.
Oh, good trick.
You want to see the compost?
I'd love to.
Okay. This is where it is, see?
Wow.
Ta-da.
Oh, what's the soil factory?
That's the part of the magic. The soil factory. Well, this is my soil factory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is my soil factory. I call it my soil factory. It's just made out of corrugated iron.
Yeah.
And I've got 4 bays, so I can turn that one into this bin and that one into this bay and keep alternatively turning them every second day. And it takes me about 21 days to make beautiful, beautiful soil. Have a little smell of this. Give some of the soil. So have a smell of this. Beautiful soil here. What does that smell like?
Oh, divine, like a fresh morning forest.
Yeah?
Oh, it's beautiful.
That's the idea. Beautiful soil. So I make my own soil up here in the garden. And that's probably one of the most important things you need to have in the garden, and that's your compost.
Yeah, I've never seen people swap it from one container to another.
Well, it's a lot easier to turn it.
Yeah.
You know, because you just got to empty it one day into the other day. And yeah, it's a pretty simple science to make compost.
Yeah.
But it is nice to know the recipe.
Yeah, and this makes sense to put it switch bay.
So once you've got the recipe, it's pretty simple. Oh, look at the size of that. Oh.
Wow.
Oh. Look at the size of that beautiful worm. That's actually not a compost worm, that's an earthworm, that one. The compost worms, they live in the compost and they live on the first 6 inches of soil and eat all the decomposing material.
Yeah.
The leaves and the grass and all that. And the earthworms, they live deeper down in the soil.
Wow.
And they actually live from the compost worm's poo.
Oh.
That's what they eat. They're kind of like the whales of the soil.
Right.
They're just eating the bacteria that's inside the castings from the compost worms.
Wow.
Yeah, so you've got a compost with worms in it, you know it's good.
Yeah.
It's basically what you're trying to make is the forest floor.
Yeah.
You know? But I did make a video about how to do this, which you can see on my channel. Pretty popular video, actually.
Ah.
It's had over 1 million views.
Wow.
But I do it well. I love experimenting with my camera. So I actually filmed what it looked like every time I turned it. I filmed it close up so you can see how it started decomposing.
Oh, you do amazing work with your videos because for starters like me, I'm learning so much. The video I've loved the best so far was the one with the decomposing toes.
Yeah, that is the compost video actually. And you can see that on that compost video. Yeah, that's what I like about my photography. I can capture things that the eye can't see normally.
Yeah.
I mean, who would know what it looked like? Who would know what it looks like to see a cane toad decomposing underneath the soil? Should I show you how I made it?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Oh my God, I thought it was trick photography.
No.
It was surreal.
It's real. I just finished turning this and I'll show you how I made that one. Because I've got a little studio down there in my tunnel. Another beautiful worm here.
Wow.
Yeah. I think we should do that trick about the magic trick. I'll do it this time. I just put my intention on finishing turning the compost. 1, 2, 3. What else do we say? Probably one of the most important things you can have in your garden is a compost. Because this is where you're making your plant nutrients. I'll go and show you how I did that decomposing toad.
Right.
Look, just go up there to my worm farm. Okay? That's what I call Wormville.
Wow. What is a worm farm?
A worm farm is where you farm worms. It's like, it's just it's kind of like a little city of worms. And as long as you feed them organic material, which is garden scraps and kitchen scraps, then they'll eat and they'll breathe and turn everything into worm castings, which is beautiful soil. Yeah, worms, they're the decomposers of the garden. Everything that needs to be broken down, you can put it in here and they'll break it down and just turn it into beautiful, rich soil for your garden. And you can also use the leachate or the worm juice, which sort of is basically just the water and all the liquid from everything that kind of leaks down and goes down the hole where the bathtub is and into a bucket. But a worm farm is probably one of the must-haves if you're going to have a garden. Because this is just like the soil factory. You're creating your own soil, letting nature do its job, converting all this organic matter into beautiful, nutrient-dense soil for your garden. What happens is you feed your worms, and all that juice that sort of seeps through, it all drips into this bucket here. And this is basically the fertilizer you can put on your garden.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is that called the worm food?
It's kind of basically, it's all the liquids from all the vegetables and all the stuff that kind of just seep through, and it's mixed with the bacteria that's in there too. So there's thousands of bacteria in this, ready to go and pour on a garden. You can also use the castings.
Yeah.
See, this is beautiful soil. See, it smells a little bit similar to what the compost did.
Oh, divine.
It smells fresh
I
and
want to move
earthy.
in.
But we're going to get some of these worm castings. Look, you just dig a little bit in here. You can see, look at them all.
Oh my lord, there's hundreds.
Alrighty. So there's hundreds and thousands of worms in here, but I'm going to get a bunch of this worm castings with the worms and all the bacteria, and I'm going to put it in my little photo studio, and I'm going to put the cane toad in, and I'll show you what I do.
Wow. I can't believe I'm going to watch a live decomposition of cane toad.
Okay. Alrighty. So I've got the worm castings, and this is my little photo studio. And this is just a styrofoam box with the glass front on it. Okay, and then I can put my camera in front of it and see what's going on under the ground. So to do this experiment, we need to get a cane toad. And actually there's one, I'll just grab that one. Oh, there it is, see? That one's a live one. So for the sake of the experiment, to show you what's going on, I'm going to use a live cane toad. But what we do, basically, I can turn this around so the camera can see it. Put the cane toad so he's belly flat. He'll be hopping around for a second. I'll just get him. It's a lot easier when there's not so much life in the cane toad, but you get it. So what happened is I put the cane toad, imagine it's dead, put his tummy against the glass, and then put the worm castings on, and I'll put a bit more on. All right, and just imagine that I'm filling this up with totally to the top. This is the fun part, and then check out this. What you can see from the front. See the little cane toad there? So if it was a dead one, I'd stretch his arms out and stretch his legs out. But watch what happens when I put a camera on it, and I'll let the time-lapse camera show us what happens. Ready? 1, 2, 3, boom. Look at that, how it's just decomposing right in front of our eyes. That's why I love photography, because it gives you the opportunity to see things that you'd never see with your own eyes.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, but he doesn't like being in here, so I think I'll catch him. I'll let him go. I'll let him go back where he was. They eat the bees at night time. I'll show you that tonight. So that's how I do a lot of my shots. Sometimes I might put carrots in there and make a little studio so it looks like it's my carrot bed, and then I'll catch a rat and put the rat in and just film it and get a shot so it looks like the rat's in my garden underneath the carrots at night time, you know. And I've done it with butterflies and watching compost decompose, all sorts of things. Yeah.
Those are good tips.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm just going to go and wash my hands. These are my lovely garden beds. Can you see how I don't have any rows of anything? See, I've got stuff all, what's it called, haphazardly growing. I've got garlic and celery and pineapples and squash and garlic and herbs all mixed up together. And do you know why I do that?
No.
Because that stops the bug problem.
I was going to ask you, how do you deal with bugs?
Well, I don't deal with the bugs, except I plan my garden is how I deal with the bugs. So I look at it like this. Imagine you're a butterfly and you're going to lay some little caterpillars, right? You remember when you were born the taste of a kale leaf or a cabbage leaf. So instinctively, the mother, she wants to find a cabbage leaf or a kale leaf to lay her eggs on. So she's going to fly into your garden. And she's going to be trying to smell where the cabbage is, right?
Yeah.
Because all the different plants give out different pheromones, different smells.
Yeah.
And she's going to fly down. She's going to go, oh, there's the cabbage. And she'll take a dive and she'll go down towards it. And then she'll get a waft of garlic, you know, or a waft of thyme. And that'll confuse her. She'll be flying around. And because everything's all over the place, I think they get confused. So they fly off somewhere else.
Wow.
But if you do have an infestation, if you've got rows and rows of the same vegetable, then your infestation is going to kind of travel through the whole crop. So if you've got things all over the place, then if you've got an infestation, maybe it's just one plant. But another thing to remember is that infestations of insects, it's kind of like if you think about the African savanna and you've got the zebra.
Yeah.
Right? The zebra is kind of like the plants, and the lions is kind of like the bugs. The bugs are only going to be going for the weakest plant, just like the lions only go for the weakest zebra, right? So if you've got healthy soil, and if your plants are planted in the garden so they've got enough room to spread their leaves, to photosynthesize from the sun, then they're able to, and you've got good soil, then they're reaching their full potential. And most plants have got their own mechanism to defend themselves against bugs. So if you've got healthy soil, sun and water, and all the elements that the plant needs to reach its full potential, then you shouldn't have any problems with bugs because plants can protect themselves. So the bugs usually go for the weakest. And if you do have a bug or aphid attack or something going on in your garden, the worst thing you can do is to pull it out. Because then the bugs are going to go, okay, that was the weakest one, but let's find the next weakest one. And they'll kind of just move on to another one. So if you do have bugs, I kind of leave them. And so, well, that's your plant. And hopefully we'll leave yours alone.
Wow,
And,
that's a great system.
But there are some bugs that just keep coming on, like these little ones that eat my eggplant. You can see all these little holes in the eggplant.
Oh, yeah.
Then I use pyrethrum, which is a flower that I grow down in the swales next to the fruit trees.
Right.
And you mix it up with water and let it sit and soak, and then you can spray that on the plant, and that'll keep those little ones away. But healthy soil, healthy environment, enough room for the plants to reach out and get their photosynthesis from the sun, then you shouldn't have a bug problem. But I do have problems with the bush turkey and the rats.
Yeah.
So,
and I've seen a few spiders here and there as we're walking around.
Yeah, the spiders are good.
Okay.
The spiders eat the bugs. Yeah.
That's good.
And the little birds, once you get your environment going, your little ecosystem, then all the little small birds come as well.
Yeah.
You know, and they'll eat the bugs and the grubs as well.
What do the cicadas do?
The cicadas? Well, that's another story. It's a long story, but the cicadas don't eat. They've been eating for 7 years underneath the ground. When they hatch, when the eggs are laid from the mother in the tree, the little larvae hatch and they fall into the ground. Then they connect to the root of the tree and connect to it like a little joey does to its mother kangaroo.
Yeah.
And then it just drinks of the sap of the sugar and lives down there for 7 or 9 or 13 years, depending on what cicada it is. And then all of a sudden it's ready and it'll come out of the ground. It'll hang onto the tree, open its back up, get its wings, and then it's just time to mate. And that's what they're making the sound now. That's the mating call. That's the males that we can hear. They've got a little vibrator thing on their stomach.
Right.
And they're the ones that are making the noise. So they're just interested in mating now. And once they've mated, they'll die.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they don't eat any of my vegetables, which is good.
That's a bonus.
Yeah. Do you want to go down and look at the food forest?
I'd love to.
Okay. Oh, look, I've got my bees here too.
Oh.
I bet you haven't tasted fresh honey from a flow hive before.
I haven't, and I haven't had honey for a long time.
I love my beehive. Having fresh honey in the garden is one of the beautiful delights of having bees. There's always that yummy sweetness to get.
I've never seen a flow hive before.
Haven't you?
No.
See, I would never have got a hive of bees if it wasn't for the flow hive, because I don't want to be messing with all that honey and all that comb and that. Do my harvesting.
Has the traditional ones where you take out the panels and then you put it in a machine and it spins it off, and I know it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's very messy. This one's very not messy. I'll go and get some tools and we'll harvest some honey and you can have a taste of it. Okay. Yeah. Harvesting honey from the flow hive is a lot easier than the conventional hives because you don't disrupt the bees and you don't need to centrifuge it. You just have to turn the tap. This out here, I think I'll do this height. I think I'll take honey out of this frame. First we take that off. And you can see it's got a little thing in here.
Yeah.
Basically put that in and this one.
Yeah.
Take the spout out. Put it like that.
So actually, it's not even a drop of milk.
Yeah, because I haven't opened it yet. And then when you open it, what it does is inside it's got these plastic rows of the cone, and back to back, each section looks like that, and then the one beside it looks like that. So when that one comes to that one, they look like that. Then when you turn the key, it kind of moves them up like that, and then the honey kind of runs out into the. Can you see how the honey's dripping down here? Here it comes. Blunk.
Wow. Golden nectar.
Yeah, I feel like Weedy the Pooh. The side, see, when you look in the side here, see, you can see all the bees working.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the way they've kept all the cells here, so that means it's ready to harvest
Right.
when it's kept. The people that design not far from here,
Oh, okay.
just down the road, a father and his son have designed it.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Not mess and so healthy having the bees flying around as well.
And they're great pollinators in the garden too.
Yeah.
Might just sit down here, I think, because it does take a little while. We sit here and harvest honey in the sunshine.
Yeah. How cool is this?
Yeah, it's nice. But you don't eat honey, do you?
No.
Okay.
But I love the smell of honey.
Yeah.
And I know all the medicinal purposes or qualities for honey as well. Like if you've got a sore throat and a cold, it's really good to have a mouthful of honey.
Yeah. And if you can't get to sleep, nice warm milk and honey.
Yeah.
So you want to smell?
Oh, mother's nectar.
Mm. Mm.
Nice.
You feel it going right down through here. You know, each little bee only makes 1 teaspoon of honey in its life.
Wow.
There's about 50,000 bees in there.
60,000.
50,000.
That's unbelievable.
In a normal hive, there's about 50,000 bees. Yeah. I could talk for an hour just about the bees. They're fascinating insects.
Well, I think without the bees, there won't be mankind, because as you mentioned, they're so necessary for pollination.
Yeah, they're good pollinators. They're good pollinators, but ants and butterflies and moths and lots of insects and birds also pollinate.
Yeah.
But I love the honey, the diversity and the taste of the honey, depending on what flowers are going on in the garden.
Yeah, and you certainly have a variety of flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me about your fruit trees, and how did you decide what fruit trees to have, for example?
Well, if you want to start a food forest, one of the first things you've got to get your head around is what trees, what plants grow well in your area, in your region. That's number one. Because there's no use trying to grow a banana if you've got frost.
Okay.
It's never going to work. It's never going to work for you. So to find out what plants grow best in your region is the number one.
Yeah.
And the second most important, I think, is what you like to eat.
That makes sense.
Who wants to spend a lot of time nurturing a tree for 5 or 6 years to get a fruit that you're not even going to eat?
That's so true.
So all the trees I've got here, I've got the fruit that I love to eat and the berries that I love to eat and the plants that grow well in this region. And then all you got to give them is food and sunshine and water, and they'll do it all for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So how many hours a day would you spend in the garden?
I spend a lot of time just chilling out in the garden, really. But the maintenance of it, well, considering I'm a YouTuber, in that sense I'm a filmmaker and I'm a social media guy and I'm an instructor and a set designer. I've got like 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Just doing that. And I still have time to look after my garden. So it's not a full-time job.
So there's no excuse for the busy corporate to say I can't have a garden.
Well, if the busy corporate dude and he's working 60 hours a week, it might be a bit pressed.
You've got a lovely spider there.
Mm-hmm. The corporate guy who's working 60 hours a week, he might be a bit pressed to do that, but it's a lifestyle you have to choose.
Yeah.
If you choose the other lifestyle, then that's what you choose. And I appreciate everyone's got different tastes and everyone's got different dreams. But it's always been a dream of mine to live in a garden and become an old man, an old, healthy, happy old man.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier, and I think you're going to fulfill your dream. It is so magical here with the diversity of trees and the plants and the animals. And you mentioned there's koalas here as well.
Yeah, there's koalas. You know what a koala sounds like?
No.
Koala. If I was a tourist from overseas and I was camping in the bush and I heard this sound, I'd be scared, but it's only a little koala.
Oh,
yeah,
my God.
They sound like a big, scary animal. Yeah.
And what about snakes?
We do have carpet snakes up here.
What are carpet snakes?
A carpet snake is a python.
Oh.
So it's not a venomous snake.
Right.
And that'll keep the rats away.
Okay.
And we call her Sally. Sally the carpet snake. They're very docile and very slow, and you could almost pick them up, but I haven't I haven't been able to dare to do that yet. But if the carpet snake is here, then the rats are not here.
Okay.
And then the rats are not here, then the carpet snake's not here. Sorry. So if the carpet snake's here, the rats soon tell each other. So she'll maybe catch a rat, and then that'll be the end of it, and the rats will disappear. And then she's got something to eat, so she'll disappear, and then the rats realise that she's gone, so then they tell each other that it's safe to come back again, and then they come back again, and a few weeks later, when she's digested that one, she'll come back. So it's this constant cycle of rats and snakes and rats and snakes. But I don't see any venomous snakes up here.
Well, that's a blessing.
I haven't encountered any venomous snakes. So I'll just close this off now and let that little last bit drip out, because our glass is almost full here. And then we can go for a little walk down in the food forest.
Fabulous.
Okay, so that's all our honey. That's from one, what do you call it? A frame. So all that honey is just from one frame. See?
Wow.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Beautiful.
That's amazing, because it just looks like a tiny frame, and to have 6 full jars.
Yeah, so that'll last us a few months, that honey, but we usually give it away to guests because it's a nice thing to give away. Mm-hmm. Do you want to go for a little walk down the food forest?
Sure.
Okay, we'll leave that honey there and we'll get it later. Hey, Bev, can I call you Bev?
Yeah, sure.
See these ones here?
Yeah.
See these ones here? Do you know what these ones are?
They look like baby chilies.
Yeah, they're chilies. Look, these chilies here is the second hottest chili in the world.
Oh.
Do you like chilies?
I love chilies.
Okay.
And I love hot chilies.
Because every time we have guests in the garden, I do this little taste test with them. That we'll do 2 little bits of chili. You take one, and just remember, you've touched it with your hand now, so don't scratch your eyes or anything.
Okay.
All right, and I'm not going to get you to eat it, but just go like that. And then chuck it. And it's not that quick, is it?
Oh my God.
Can you feel it already?
Wow, maybe I dabbed it too much. Wow, my mouth is on fire. Yeah.
Can you imagine eating one of those?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can feel it now too, actually. Let's go and get a cucumber. Oh, my mouth is hot. And I'll get myself a little capsicum. Yeah, we'll have half each.
Wow, thank you.
Can you imagine eating a whole chili? Pretty wicked, aren't they? But it'll go in about 5 minutes. You'll be right again.
Wait, what's the name of those chilies?
Carolina Reaper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've got Brazilian friends and they eat chilies like tomatoes, so...
These ones are not so bad. These ones are not so bad. You can eat these ones. They're like more capsicum tasting.
What are they called?
I don't know if you know what these are called. Just write it in the comments, everybody. I don't know what they're called. Okay.
So far,
you can taste the different taste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot. Still hot though.
I've had enough chili.
It's still on fire. More timber.
So this is my food forest.
Oh.
I might sit down. Should we sit down in the sunshine and get the last of the afternoon sun?
Oh, that's wonderful.
In the cool of the afternoon.
I tell you what, this land is healing.
Yeah.
Now, being in that hot sun all day, it's really nice to sit on the cool grass.
It is.
And just connect and be.
Yeah.
I keep meaning to ask you why you don't wear shoes.
Why I don't wear shoes?
Around barefoot.
Really do it to save money. To save on shoes, yeah. No, I do it because from what I understand, our bodies are electrical systems. And every electrical system needs a positive and a negative charge to work. Just like a drill, just like a blender. All right?
Yeah.
And so as I understand, the ground is the negative charge in our universe, and up there is the positive charge. And if you think about our body, and it's made up of all these molecules, and each molecule is made up of atoms. If you look at an atom, it's a little positive and a little negative, and they're spinning around each other. And that's electricity right there. And if that's what we're made up of, we're electricity, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, from what I've learned, if you have a damaged cell in your body, it's sort of like it's lost an electron. And so what it'll do is it'll ask the neighbour cell, says, hey, I've lost an electron, can I borrow one of yours? And cells are very friendly and good like that, and he'll say, absolutely. So he'll give it, and then he'll ask the one beside. And that happens all through the body until we get to the source where the electrons are coming in, which is your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah? And if you don't have that connection, if you don't have that source of electrons, if you don't have that negative charge in your electrical system, that's what we call inflammation. Those cells that are asking to share the electrons keep going round and round and round and round, and they're not getting any new ones. And so if you've got inflammation in your body, the quickest way to stop that would be to come outside, take your shoes off and put them on the grass. Put them on the ground, 20 minutes. So if you've got aches and pains in your body from inflammation, just try that.
Fabulous.
Try that.
Wonderful.
It's called earthing, grounding. But gorillas don't wear shoes either, you know. I feel like a gorilla in my forest. Yeah.
It is a magical forest.
And it's another. I also know where my burrs are, so I can find the burrs.
Right.
Because I step on them and find out where they are,
Exactly.
and then I can take them out. And also I know where the jumping ants nests are, because they bite me on the feet. So yeah, all in all, it's just really to get connected and to be part of my garden. I kind of feel like we are supposed to be connected to this earth. You know, I think a lot of people have kind of forgotten that, growing away from that.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to do my YouTube channel, and I like to live that connected life and just show what it's like by kind of just living it myself.
Yeah. I think that's a wonderful way of leading and teaching by example, because, like you mentioned earlier, you are not a gardener, you're primarily a photographer, and you have to learn from scratch.
Yeah.
And so anybody can do this. And I think with the chaotic world that we're living in at the moment, with wars here and there, and you know, you never know what tomorrow brings. And I think, you know, even the Dalai Lama said about the stress with the phone. People are looking at their phone before they go to bed. If they got likes on social media, doing the same when they wake up, instead of just allowing to wake up with nature and follow nature's rhythms and learn from nature.
Yeah, but it's hard to do when you're caught up in another life. But I feel that since I've been in my garden and walking around with bare feet connected to the earth, I feel like I'm now doing what the universe has been trying to deliver to me my whole life. I feel like now I'm actually doing what the universe is telling me, is asking me what to do. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, you're listening to your intuition, and I personally think everybody needs a digital detox and come back to nature and connect with nature, because nature will teach you to connect with your true authentic self. You know, we can learn from nature, like you've got all these wonderful herbs growing in the garden, medicinal herbs, you know, everything we need, nature can provide for us. And you're a true example, because you've got such diversity here, and we had some of your lovely tisane earlier with just picking out from the garden.
My tea?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like having a health food store in your backyard, really.
Yeah. And I know that you do tours, so I'm guessing what we've done today is like a mini tour of what you give to people who sign up.
Yeah, you can book a tour on my website, theweedygarden.com, and actually I'll fill the bathtub up there for you, and we'll light a fire underneath that, so when we've finished eating our baked potatoes by the fire, I'll go down and I'll turn off the hidden cameras, and you guys can take a bath underneath the stars.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and
Oh.
that's something I like to do every now and again
Yeah.
with Mrs. Weedy. I've actually taken my computer up here sometimes and I watch my movie on the computer screen while I'm in the bath.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to looking at the stars from the bathtub.
I've actually been around the world and probably visited about 40 different countries in my life as a photographer and filmmaker. But I reckon this location here on the hill, far away from any town and even further from the city, I reckon this beats all of them. Yeah, and I'm really happy that I can do that with my work here and inspire so many people. That's the best part of doing this, is the feedback I'm getting from the people out there.
Yeah, being of service is the biggest gift.
If I can encourage people to start gardening, and like on my channel I explain very clearly that I knew nothing when I started, but I think when you open up that channel to learn about something that's really important to you, the information you need to learn will come in front of you along the way, and that's what's happened with me. It's very synchronistic in that way.
Yeah, it's a great way for you to learn and grow as well by teaching others.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of basically sharing what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you studied permaculture, I believe.
Well, I have done a course on permaculture with my teacher, Jeff Lawton, and he's a good friend of mine now, so we kind of work together. And he's helped me design the garden. He came out and showed me how to build a swale. The swale is these little mounds you see everywhere in the garden that sort of stop the water from running down the hill. And the nutrients, they lay in this trough and sink down slowly. So the trees and all the plants on the swales kind of get the nutrients in the water instead of it all just running down the hill. Yeah. But it's not the season for too much at the moment, actually. We've got a lot of bananas, got a lot of pineapples coming on soon. The berries are starting to come on soon. Avocados. Yeah, it's a real beautiful jungle up here. After Christmas time, everything's ready. Yeah.
Fabulous.
So you can run around and eat whatever you want, whenever you want.
Yeah, that's the biggest gift you can give to yourself, because it's grown with love and nurtured with love.
Yeah. And I don't have a big plot of land. It's only like 50 metres by 50 metres by 50 metres by 50 metres. And what's that, about a quarter of an acre, half an acre?
Yeah.
What's that?
2,500?
2,500 square metres.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, so there you go. We don't need too much land, and you can grow a magnificent oasis.
Yeah.
Paradise. I feel like I'm in paradise. It's just so amazing here.
When I think of paradise, I think of a garden. It's kind of like a home inside a home. The smell of the rain, the colours of the birds and the flowers. It kind of activates all your senses.
Yeah.
It activates all your senses.
I meditate daily, and I just love meditating in nature and just sitting in your garden now and looking at the beautiful hills around us. You talk about energy and electrons, like the magic of the hills, loving and nurturing.
It's a beautiful area here in northern New South Wales called the Northern Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very grateful that you showed us or suggested that Brian and I go and visit the Hanging Rock Waterfall.
Yeah.
When we had a little break today, it was magical, and only 10 minutes from your property.
Yeah, that's part of the Weedy Garden tour. I take them down to the waterfall and we take a nice photo down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was thinking maybe we should start the fire and put some potatoes in the fire for dinner tonight.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah, okay. You've got to go and get some firewood first.
Yeah, cool.
You want to help me with that?
I would love to.
Okay. We've got to go outside down to the forest to get some firewood. Okay. That'll do. Come. Let's go and get some firewood and we'll start the fire. Okay? Okay? We've got some firewood. We'll just chop some firewood. Can I show you this smart little trick I got here? My mother taught me this. because when you're chopping firewood, you split it, it just falls everywhere. But I've got this mesh bolted on, so it stops it from falling behind. Look, and you should have shoes on, everybody, when you're doing this. See, that stopped it from flying off behind. That's a smart little system, that one. Okay, that's better. Another one of those. Okay, before we start the fire, I'm going to just take all this ash. See all this ash? This is really good for the garden. And all this charcoal. Yeah. The charcoal, that's where the bacteria can live in the ground. Right. So they don't get kind of washed away and end up in the creek. Yeah. Because charcoal is like full of little cavities, microscopic cavities. So it's like little apartment buildings for the microorganisms in the soil. And the ash is really good for potassium. So anything that's fruiting or flowering, it's really good just to sprinkle this. But I'm going to put this just directly in the compost. As I'm mixing my compost, this adds to the compost. So that's why my compost is so nutrient rich and diverse. Because I just don't have grass and manure. I've got all sorts of things in it, including ash and charcoal. So I'll just go and chuck this in the compost and then we'll start the fire.
Great.
Okay.
Wow, this tea is amazing.
It is, isn't it? I love this one. This one's really nice. Cheers.
Cheers.
So we'll let that fire burn down a little bit and we'll put some coals in the hole and we'll put some potatoes in their jackets.
Wow.
And eat them. So cheers again.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming to visit me in the garden, Beverley.
Oh, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for giving up your precious time to show us around. And so many highlights, you know, like this fire, the beehive, holding the soil and smelling it and seeing a genius like yourself in action. I love your videos, and I'm so grateful for this tour today. And this is the first podcast we've done of this kind to actually come and have a tour and stay overnight.
So on that note, I would say another cheers to you, Beverley.
Cheers.
And cheers, Brian, for filming in the background. We didn't see Brian today, but Brian's been the filmer today. Thanks, Brian. And everybody watching, thanks for watching. And I hope to follow your travels around as well and find out what you're going to do with your life and where you find your land.
Yeah.
And build your paradise.
Yes, well, we're so inspired even more now, having been in your garden, and we'll definitely be contributing. And fingers crossed, we're going to win a Weedy Garden.
That'd be pretty cool. But just remember, you don't have to know everything before you start. I think the biggest step is actually just to start.
Yeah.